What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Tigers true and realistic rebuild here on MLB The Show 20. We are in 2022. We are in the playoffs, but the Tigers are not in the playoffs. So we have had 3 seasons to try to improve this team and improve this roster. And I think that we've done that. We've been kind of hovering, though, around that 78 to 80 win mark in the last 2 seasons. Now, that first season was not good, obviously. The team has improved since 2019, that is for sure. But 2020 was just another really underperforming season. You know, a lot of young guys, a lot of guys that we want to see what we got, throw it at the wall, see what sticks type of deal. But the roster has gotten better. We've acquired some good pieces like Teoscar Hernandez. Jake Rogers is starting to come through. He's starting to get better. Jamer's getting better. Tommy Edman was a good acquisition here, hitting 266. Teoscar, nice home run mark there, but the RBI is a little bit low. But I think that that's going to get better the more that we extend this offense out, acquire some good players here in free agency. And, you know, I've kind of been wanting to wait on a little bit. Again, I didn't want to acquire a star. He would obviously help us. A star would help us, but you kind of waste those contract years with a guy like, I don't know, Mookie Betts or a big time star. You waste those contract years when you have a bunch of young guys still trying to grow. So now that they're here, now that they've kind of arrived, guys like DJ Peters, Bobby Dahlbeck, Jorge Bonifacio, you see his numbers there hitting 285 on the season. Now that we're kind of here, that we've arrived, our young guys have kind of arrived, now we can kind of make a big splash in this season, in this 2022 offseason. Couple guys up for exclusive negotiations. I would only, out of this list, really look at bringing Matt Barnes back. I'm not concerned with the other guys. They were kind of stopgap players, see how they performed. If they performed well, we could actually go ahead and trade them away. Unfortunately, we did not find a trading partner for any of those guys up on the screen. Couple guys that we're looking to bring back. Ross Stripling. I'm thinking about maybe 1 or 2 seasons for Ross Stripling. You know, he's 33 years old. He kind of feels as like a flex type of starter. You know, and same thing here with Chris Bassett. You can move him in the bullpen. You can make him a starter. We don't really need any of those guys to be a starting pitcher since we're pretty loaded in that respect. Mike Minor, Mike Fulmer, Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal. I mean, there's your starting 4 right there. So we've got a pretty good group of starting pitchers this season, and I really just don't feel like any of those guys would fit at a starting role. But we do offer arbitration here to Jorge Bonifacio. I think I'm going to go ahead and offer him that $4.5 million, so that's almost double, a little over double his salary from last season. I think he'll be happy with that. I think he's going to end up signing with us. So taking a look at free agent negotiations here, there's a lot of big names, guys. Aaron Judge especially. But I think it's just going to be, it's way too expensive. Like, we do have the cash flow to go nab him. We have that. But there's a lot of pending offers right now that are still waiting in the wings. Like guys like Jorge Bonifacio, guys like Ross Stripling. Now, I know that they're not going to cost a whole lot of money, but we do have a lot of tender contracts. Guys in the minor league system that we have to re-sign. That's making up that $16.3 million right there in pending offers. So once those come in, once those get onto our books, that cash flow is going to definitely drop down. But we're looking at some starting pitching here. I don't see anybody down low about in those 79, 78 range that I'm really interested in. I think if we're going to actually go ahead and we're going to acquire a starting pitcher, it's got to be a really good one. It's going to be a really, really good one. And I'm just looking for depth at this point, and I don't really see it. As far as relief pitching goes, nothing really stands out for me other than, of course, Tommy Kahnle could try to bring him back. Nothing really down low here in the 70s, low 70s. If anything, I would try to get Chad Green in here. Closing pitching, we could get another setup arm to Joe Jimenez, but again, like the only really guy that I'd go after here would probably Jose Leclerc or Edwin Diaz. I mean, 29 years old for both of them. Chapman's probably going to cost a little bit more money there, 30 plus years old. I think we're okay. I think we're set at setup, and I think we're set at closing pitcher with Joe Jimenez. Catching wise, I mean, you could upgrade this position. Jake Rogers is starting to come up a little bit. You don't want to really take time away from his progression. The one guy I would look at would be Buster Posey. And you know, I've always been a big Buster Posey fan. He wouldn't be a catcher for us. He would play first base. He'd play first base for us. He's got some pretty good numbers there. He'd be a little bit better than CJ Cron. I would rely on Buster Posey to actually perform a little bit better with the hitting numbers than CJ Cron, but you know, he's regressing too. It's kind of pointless to sign Buster Posey if he's not going to play DH and he's not going to play first base for you. It'd be kind of pointless, right? So if we acquired Buster Posey, I would want to move CJ Cron first. I'd want to move on from Cron first and then go after Buster Posey, because there's not a whole lot of interest out there in the market for Buster. But here's our boy, Adam Frazier. If you guys have watched any of my YouTube series, you know full well that Adam Frazier is one of my favorite players in the MLB. I don't know why exactly. It's just because of his versatility. His hard work ethic. He'd be kind of like that Tommy Edman type of player. I just like those guys. I like those grinders. But he would be a nice little player to add for us off the bench. I don't think he would be a starter for us. He'd be an off the bench piece. Third base, not really anything catching my eye there. I know that there's good players, but for us, we're going to move on from third base. I think that we've got that pretty much locked down with Jamer and Bobby Dahlbeck. I'm impressed with Dahlbeck. I think he's going to be a good one for us. Jamer kind of really middling right now. He's kind of stagnating right now. I think that he just needs some playing time. That would also be a nice little move, that we could actually move Jamer Candelario over to first base as well and move on from CJ Cron. So here's the big one. Here's the big move. Our outfield needs a little bit more offensive production. And what a move that this would be to bring back JD Martinez. He's still a 91 overall. He's 35 years old. He would be cheaper than Aaron Judge. He would do the same job as Aaron Judge, I would like to assume. You could argue that JD is a little bit worse off than Aaron Judge. Of course, he'd be more of a full-time player. You could actually put Aaron Judge in the outfield. For us, it would mostly be JD's coming back. He's coming back home. All the fan support behind JD. He would be our designated hitter. You're not going to put him out in the outfield. He just doesn't have the hitting number or the fielding numbers, I would say. Aaron Judge would be a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I think JD Martinez would just make the most sense for us. A little bit on the cheaper side, and of course, just being a designated hitter only would work for us. Trey Mancini could play first base. He can fill in that outfield spot, that left field, center field, right field spot. That would be a nice addition for us. He's got the power numbers there. He's a little bit younger. Mitch Haniger would be nice too. He's been one of my favorite players in real life, in real time. But we just need some more offensive production, and I don't think that Mitch Haniger would be a guy that's going to put us over the top. He would just be kind of another guy. He'd be a nice little role player. Same thing with Mancini. I think we got to go after somebody. We got to go hard. We got to go a little bit more deep dive into this versus just trying to get another guy on the roster. So as far as first base goes, I think it's the move that we have to make. Jamer Candelario is not playing enough. He's getting stuck behind Bobby Dahlbeck. If we moved Jamer over to first base, you basically fill that position up. You can move on from CJ Cron and his contract. That cash flow is going to go up. If we end up trading Cron away, that allows us more flexibility with the cash flow so that we can actually start making some more moves, some moves that we actually do want to consider, like Mike Clevenger. Now, he is a guy that I kind of skipped over, but he would be the type of pitcher between him or Sean Manaea that I would really love to go after and get. The age is not really all that bad, right? Anytime you offer a ton of money to an age 30-plus pitcher, it's a little concerning, but when you have guys like this, Clevenger, high strikeout rate, low walk rate, he's the type of guy that I would want on this roster. He's been in the AL Central for quite some time with the Cleveland Indians. He kind of knows what's going on here with other AL Central opponents. This would be a perfect move for the Detroit Tigers to go after and go get a guy for like a 3-year deal. 3 years, come on in here, do your job. Let's get this thing under wraps. Let's win a Central Division title. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's start changing the culture here again in Detroit, it'd be a perfect move. So we do offer him a contract, and there's some top pitchers going off the board here. And look at the Twins, guys. The Twins know what's up, so they can see the Tigers are starting to try to make some moves, and the Twins are saying, let's go out and let's spend a crap ton of money. So hey, we get JD Martinez, we get Mike Clevenger, and automatically, already, the lineup looks even more deadly. I love it. I love it. So now the object and the goal is to start looking at some cap room and start shaving off some salaries, some bad contracts that you guys can see here with Altavia. We had CJ Cron on the board here that's making a lot of money that's not really going to play a whole lot for us. So we're looking just to start moving the needle here on that cash flow. And we don't have a lot left, guys. You saw it, right? We had $2.4 million after all those pending contracts for existing players, plus the guys that we just signed with JD and Mike Clevenger. We're all the way down to $850. So we make that trade. We move on from Altavia. Now we're looking at trading Matthew Boyd. Now this is a trade that it sucks that I have to do this, but I need that cash flow over $1 million. We got to have that happen. So I'm considering moving on from Matthew Boyd simply because we have a ton of depth in pitching right now. Because of the addition of Mike Clevenger, we can move on from Matthew Boyd. Tarek Skubal would probably be our number 5 guy, and we'll get a nice assessment here. We'll take a look at what our starting 5 is going to look like without Matthew Boyd in it. And Boyd is a really good pitcher in MLB The Show. He's a good pitcher, and I love him. I love him. That high strikeout rate, that lefty, that sweeping slider. He's a really good pitcher, but I think just for us and what the goal is and what we're trying to do, we got to move on from him. We got to move on from him. Try to save some money, get that cash flow moving in the right direction, and start acquiring more pieces on the bench that we could actually use. And I'm looking at Marwin Gonzalez. I mean, the guy's been a good hitter his whole entire career. He walks at a pretty decent rate, just a decent rate, considering the amount of playing time that he has. He'd be a nice player off the bench for us. If the first base gig does not work out for Jeimer Candelario, then we could actually move Marwin over to first base. Shortstop, he could play shortstop too. He could play third, second. So he's a nice little utility guy that would really work for us. Plus he's an 80 overall, good hitter, solid numbers there. I think it works. Plus you guys saw the lineup there with the pitching staff. I like it. Casey Mize is our number 5 guy. I think we're in a pretty good spot now as far as pitching is concerned. So as far as the Twins go, guys, they are going crazy. They're going crazy right now with all their moves. So they ended up getting Joey Gallo as well. They're going all in. So they're trying to match Detroit here. We're on the come up, and they're just trying to match us with the intensity here in the free agents. This offer for Bryant Caballero is an 18-year-old prospect. 18 years old for Miguel Cabrera straight up. I wanted to pull the trigger. You know what that would have done for our cash flow? Insane. It would have been insane for our cash flow, but it's Miguel's last season as a Tiger. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So we're going to stand pat with Miguel. He's going to retire a Detroit Tiger. Couple moves up here. Corey Ray, center fielder for the Braves. We're going to try to acquire him to be our center fielder this season. And then we saw a young shortstop sitting in the free agents, Jeremy Pena, a real-life prospect for the Houston Astros, trying to acquire him as well. His stats are great. Good fielding numbers, hitting numbers that you could work with as well. So I like both those players that are going to help us at the big league level. And then again, we're just trying to save some money to increase that cash flow. So it's mostly just bye-bye Jesse Biddle at 2.6 mil and CJ Cron at 4.7. We're going to acquire some young players like Ryan Mountcastle and Bale, a third base prospect. So there is your roster for the Detroit Tigers in 2023. And the way that it's looking pretty darn good, guys. I'm really liking that where we're at. Look at that. Second base, Tommy Edmonds up to an 87 overall. Corey Ray at center field. He's a good center fielder. I like it. Gives us some speed there at the position. DJ Peters moves to the bench role. And then right field is Jorge Bonifacio. Teoscar's out and left. Dahlbeck at third. Some good power in this lineup too. Is in that bottom of the order with Switch and righty with Jake Rogers and Nico Goodrum. I like the lineup, guys. Miguel Cabrera on the bench, more that veteran type of leadership there. Chadwick Tromp, the catcher, at backup catcher. I like the roster. I like the way that it's looking, guys. Taking a look at the pitching staff, we got Clevenger, Minor, Fulmer, Skubal, Mize. We got 2 really young pitching prospects there with Skubal and Mize. And then Clevenger, obviously very, very good pitcher. Strikeout guy, Mike Minor, good lefty. And then Fulmer is going to be doing his thing as one of the vets of this staff. Looking at the bullpen, Chris Bassett, Franklin Perez, Matt Manning, Stripling, Joe Jimenez. I like the pitching staff as well, guys. I think we did a pretty good job in this offseason. I hope you guys think we did too. I'm impressed with the Tigers lineup right now. Just 2 big additions plus good trades. Good trades, I think, for Marwin Gonzalez to come on over here. Acquiring Corey Ray was a big-time acquisition at center field too. Because I really wanted to see how Daz Cameron was going to progress, but he's not progressing fast enough for me. And I think going after Corey Ray is gonna help us out with that defensively and top of the order type of hitter. So guys, that is your look at the 2023 Detroit Tigers. That is it for the offseason. Leave a like if you like this thing, and I will see you guys in the regular season of 2023 the next time that we get this update video about this true rebuild. So we'll simulate all of the regular season. We'll hit the hot points. We'll hit the All-Star break. We'll hit the trade deadline. We'll see what's going on with this Tigers team. I think it's going to be a fun 2023. I think we've done a bang-up job with all of our moves, all of our transactions, all of our trades. It'd be really nice to actually see some of our drafted prospects start to make some headway here into the actual lineup. So guys, leave a like if you like this thing. I will see you in the next Detroit Tigers True Rebuild later on next week. See you in the next one. As always, peace.